It is interesting how people think. It really is. How do I say? It's like we're all very powerful. When you get yourself clean and clear, you're powerful because you're on your team. You're good to go. Like, what is it? I'm trying to see back further. It's like somebody got clean and clear and realized just how powerful they were, and it scared them, because it is. It's overwhelming and scary and crazy and wackadoodle and amazing and thrilling, and it's good stuff. And so put in the wrong hands, it can be given, it's like some people can't hold that power, right? And so it's like, so did that person scare themselves? Like, what happened exactly? Because the result of it is they try to keep people small or press them down or keep them confused or keep them in fear, right? Because that's the idea. That's how you can control them. And ultimately, they proved it right because, say, 90% of the people in the world are controlled by fear. And, another 8% are controlled by something not much greater, right? Like not much higher up on the scale. So it's proven true. And it is a battle to fight out of that confusion, to get clear within oneself, to love oneself fully and completely and be able to hold that power. That's something. And so, yeah, it's like, unless people do that, they don't have that. But what had come through was somebody had seen somebody they were afraid of because they were very powerful. And so it was like, well, what's the logic there? So that's why you kept them small? That's not... People can get powerful without anybody else's assistance. As you know, that's what I believe, right? Like, you need to get in alignment with you, and only you know you like you do. So you have to do that work and change your rhetoric, your wiring, your nervous system, your blueprint, your speech to yourself, how you speak to yourself. What the fuck is going on in there? And that takes a lot of time, effort, and work, which most people aren't willing to do. And even when they do, you never know how it's going to turn out. You never know how it's going to turn out. Because again, they could hold that amount of power, and it is like choose the dark side, right? Which ultimately means they're still not choosing them. And so you just don't know until you go all the way through and see. And most people jump off before they go all the way through, thinking they are all the way through. And hence they stay on the dark side. And I guess that's the mentality of why they continue to keep smaller, keep fear alive in so many. But I guess when it first came through, my debate was, that's just stupid. Because, again, you don't need them. You don't need anyone. You don't need anything. You just need you. And again, that's, I guess, what scares people. And so I'm still trying to get there. I'm still trying to understand this mentality. I guess because my first thought when they said that is thinking, well, that is going to create monsters. That is going to create monsters. Like making people work through it, push through it, making it more challenging, more difficult. The more fear you add in, the more you suppress them, that is going to cause them to become monstrous, right? Because it's going to anger somebody who's working so hard, and then others are intentionally causing more pain and whatnot, right? It's like the very thing they're fearing, they're going to get by their own hand, by their own demise, by their own intentions, right? Because they're creating their own reality. And so it's like the idea of, you'll get from me what you want to get from me. You'll see in me what you want to see in me. It's irrelevant what I say or do or be or you know what I mean? I could have an entirely different conversation with you than you think I had with you, because you wanted to see me the way you wanted to see me. And so you're going to hear what you want to hear. And you ask me about that same conversation, I'll tell you one a totally different way because I hear what I want to hear. It's my perception. And where's the truth? Usually lies somewhere in the middle. Yeah. I mean, it's like they're showing it like a big science project, which I think is what we all are. And yet there are others that are more in control of all those strings. And I think that's the logic. And on one hand, I could argue that it's not bad logic in that you don't know. It is a mixed bag. If you cut all the strings and ties, it's true. People will be in pandemonium. They'll be in chaos. They think they want all the strings and ties cut, but most of them can't handle it, and surely not that quickly. Surely not that quickly. And then those that even can, the amount of power that comes from owning yourself, it sounds funny, right? But it's true. Like the amount of power one holds when they own themselves can be too great for some people. Really, truly. And I know it sounds funny, but it's like people don't realize how much they're dependent and codependent on others and institutions, and like there's so much, and they're just blind to it, and that's okay. It's just not your time to wake up is what I mean, to own your own power, to run your own show. It can become exhausting even, right? Like it can become overwhelming and exhausting and many things. So it's like on one hand, I could argue like it makes sense and it's almost kind for people to keep many people on strings. And it's the idea of you have to fight through it. How bad do you want it to prove that you can handle it, right? Like if you can fight through that, then you can manage you at the end of the day. But again, it's a mixed bag. It's a chance. It's a risk. It's many things to determine whether it's worth it or should you. Because you cut all the strings because it is what it is. People are all on strings. It is what it is, right? Like there is no going back. There is no changing that. And so it's like, well, you cut all the strings and ties and lies. You're going to have a mixed bag. You're going to have crazies. You're going to have psychopaths. You're going to have people who do monstrous things. You're going to have, and some people are going to, honor themselves. So in turn, they really can honor many, many, many. But you just don't know. It's like you don't know the end result. You don't know where they'll go. But then, it's like the person holding those strings is still essentially playing God, right? Like they're still making choices that they should have never have had. And it's almost like they realize that too. That's interesting. It's almost like they realize that too, but it's like, again, too late in the game. It's like, oh shit, that's interesting. It's almost like they too agree with that now. They too see that now. They too understand that now. But it is what it is what it is what it is. We are at where we're at. Here it is. And so what to do. And this is probably why it is like a small wave. It's like a soft opening, right? It's like let's test the waters, right? This is why it is like maybe 144,000 a year get rolled in, right? Out of the 8 billion, it's a soft opening, right? Because it's like you have to breed the new wave slowly but surely and hope that the small wave that you breed, the majority is more dominant good, right? They're able to understand the lessons, learn the lessons, stand erect in the lessons. Because, like I said, that one can affect so many in a positive way. So even if 10% turn out a bad batch, their power is weak, right? Like, the dark side's much weaker. And so, those with ill intent don't have the power of those with good intent. And so it would far dominate and be fine, which is really always the case. But it's interesting how they're showing it like this, like these soft openings, this waves. It is what it is. And so it is like if you cut all the cords, all the strings, everybody woke up in unison, you just don't know what you're going to get. And so it could almost cause another wave of damage, like the damage of putting everybody on leashes and strings to begin with. Learn the lesson, no good, but what to do. And if it's like, well, just cut it and give it up to God, it could cause such pandemonium and chaos, not because of God, but because they don't realize God's inside of them, and it scares the fuck out of them, right? Like it's all too much for some. And yet it feels like we're again making it a human problem. Us humans, we just get in our own way. We get in our own way. We really do. We don't mean to. We don't. I don't know. How many more decades, centuries, eras will we have to go through until we're back upright? I mean, if going with this theory, that kind of breeding process to flip it, I don't know how many centuries it would take. It's interesting they're showing all this and saying all this, because it is like having hybrids, and then you have to have, like, all has to evolve the way it needs to evolve. And we just don't know how it'll evolve. We don't know. We don't know. I was watching this, I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know if it was a documentary or who the fuck knows. But it was about alligators and crocodiles, and like one had come over. I guess it was like illegally got into the country. I think they said they thought it must have happened in the 80s based on the age of the crocodiles or alligators and their kids, like what they had bred with, and just all these things that it just seemed so, it seems so wild, right? Like it seems so like, and of course the drama of the narrator and the way they decided to tell the story was absolutely unnecessarily dramatic, in my opinion. And yet at the same time, I get that they wanted to make it dramatic and that it's serious. It's this kind of stuff happens. And there was another documentary about the Everglades and how there was a hurricane, God knows how many, I think that might have been in the 80s too. Forgive me on all my, me and time. And I guess like some pythons had gotten loose, and then they ended up taking over the Everglades, which once apparently had all these amazing animals all over the place. You couldn't go down the road without stopping every 2 seconds because a new animal was coming through. And now you can go for miles and miles and miles and not a damn thing, because the pythons have completely destroyed the ecosystem and just taken everything out. And then they had to work on figuring out that problem because they were breeding like wild. One hatch can have like 100 eggs, and it just was too much to contain. They couldn't figure it out. They tried all these different things. Then they started introducing other things, and then I think they did discover how there was a Nile crocodile that eats humans, and they had been around much longer than they had realized, which means they were breeding. But then I think they did get all the kids, or at least they think. But you see what I'm saying? It's like all this stuff where it's like, what is all this? It's humans trying to control still, and control other humans. And again, one could argue for good reason, right? The control of, you cannot bring animals from other ecosystems into different ecosystems. You could destroy an entire ecosystem. And dummies, people who have no thinking, they don't care, and they're doing selfish things for selfish reasons. Like, I want this and that's it. I want it for me. That's it. I'm doing it. I don't care, right? Because they're too dumb, right? They're not educated enough to realize there's a reason that law is in place, and it is protecting an entire ecosystem, which affects you too, kiddo. And so when you bring that in here, but it's like you can't sit down every human and explain this to them, why things are the way they are, why things are in place the way they're in place, right? If people can't, some people's mind and capacity and understanding is just not there yet. And so to have to walk them back, it's like, this is why laws are in place, because who can manage all these morons? And so it's like, if you don't have laws in place, if you don't try to, quote, control, manage, then you will have wildness everywhere, right? So it's the idea of, well, they're in place for a reason, and the reason is to protect us. You may think it's mean, you think it's resisting or banning or keeping out animals that you want, right? Like, oh, excuse me, right? First off, why are you trying to control an animal? Why are you getting involved? Why are you getting involved in nature? And us selfish humans. God. But this is the point, right? It's like we can't barely control ourselves, let alone others. And yet many people want to help, right? They want to help the environment, they want to help other people, but we can't even help ourselves. And it's like you can get caught up in that whirlwind too. You hear me get caught up in it often, right? We do. We want to solve, right? And we think we've solved, and sometimes we do. I mean, I think there has been a lot of solutions, but do those solutions outweigh all the problems we cause? I don't know. I don't know. That's why we're all kind of just bumbling along. We're all bumbling along. We think we're more evolved than we are. We think we've progressed more than we have. We like to think and convince ourselves of such. We do. It encourages us to keep going. Because when we step back and look at the reality of it, it's too horrifying. We cannot overpower nature. And if we insist to continue to do such, it is totally fine with nature. It will rise up and swallow us whole. Right? Like, it's like nature is not worried about us. Nature will balance out because that's what nature does. It just takes much longer for nature to do it than for humans to do it. In other words, there is always that racing against the clock, but nature's not worried about the clock. Nature will win always and forever. That's not a question. That's a statement. That's a fact. And so we tend to race against the clock, or we think we're in charge because we think we're going faster because we're making it happen in real time and instant. We can see it quicker, so we convince ourselves. And that's all we're doing when we're running like that. We're just convincing ourselves in the immediate moment. Because if any of us slow down and take a real look, it's like, oh shit, let's not go back to racing and running around and pretending like we have any control. Because it's too scary. It's too scary sometimes for people to see that. So it's like, it's no, never mind. Unconditional love, nature, the highest vibration of all, is not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. Because it's the only thing that has control. It has the patience of a saint because it's not on your clock, it's not on your timetable. So it always comes back to the same thing. So what does anybody do? Love you. Start to live for you. Start to love you and your life and live for you. But know what that means. You have to learn what that means, right? Because that could quickly go back to the buffoon who wants to get involved in ecosystems. It's like, that's not in alignment with you. That's not for your highest and best. That's not your truest heart's desire. That's a lower level, looking outside oneself, greed and taking and harming another live living thing, right? It's taking away that other live living thing's free will with your intentions to take from them, right? So that's not in alignment, right? But we are simple. We are simple. We think we're so much smarter than these animals or smarter than whatever. Oh boy. It's like they're so much smarter because they're so much simpler. They're not confusing and clugging up their lives and their thoughts with the nonsense we do. This is why they are faster and quicker. This is why they are more adaptive. This is why when you see humans leave an area, nature can take over. Look at a split. It's like its ecosystem can once again become thriving a lot quicker when we leave. Which begs the question, will nature allow us to stay? Knowing that we're the invaders, right? It's happy to live with us in harmony, but we don't understand what harmony means. So, I don't know. Nature might at some point be like, look, we tried. We gave it a good run, kids. We tried, but you didn't want to play by the simple rules, so just gots to go, right? I mean, at any point, nature could be like, well, it was a good run. It was a good experiment. We really tried this experiment. We really did. And you fuckers definitely adapted. You definitely built your immune system. But we've had enough. We've had enough. It's like, get in line or don't. Nature does not give a fuck. It's not listening to your opinions or your debate or your arguments or your justifications. It's not interested. It doesn't hear that. It doesn't hear that. But it hears the heat, the vibration, the stagnancy, the static, the mess that humans make, and it's debating on its own whether we shall stay or we shall go. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.